Hello and welcome to the Sherlock Reel. My name is Carl Sherlock, and today you have joined us, and we are discussing the the man himself, the wild, wacky, wonderful world of Johnny Depp. It was his birthday this week, so we decided just to throw on the show the best of movies to see if we can find the best one. To start off, as I said, my name is Carl Sherlock, and Greg, yourself. Why don't you
How
introduce?
are
How are you doing?
How are you? I'm Greg. I'm the co-host of Retrotainment with good guy Ted there below us on the Dynamo
Right there.
Podcast Network.
Perfect.
Big
And the
film
the
fan. Good
regular to the show, Ted, yourself.
Good guy Ted here, yeah. As Greg said, part of Retrotainment, which is part of the Dynamo Podcast Network. This month we're doing a bunch of horror films for the month of June. So going up tomorrow at 2 o'clock is Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead, lovely. Well, we have Johnny Depp here, so there's two, from what I can see on this list, we have two horror films here, and so maybe it'll discuss one of them
Should be
throughout the
three
month.
now.
Maybe
Okay.
three actually. We'll see when we
We'll
go
see.
through it. And we also have Rob, who seems to be having a bit of a connection issue. So if he keeps jumping in and out, I'll take his vote during that discussion. Can you hear us there, Rob? Not yet. Okay. Um, we'll start off here, and Greg, we'll start off with yourself. It's Edward Scissorhands up against Nick of Time.
Edward Scissorhands. Surely
Yeah, I
because I
think that.
haven't seen Nick of Time. I don't even know what
Yeah,
it is.
if I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm the same.
What,
Not too
what's
sure of
up
Nick of
against
Time.
it?
It's Edward Scissorhands.
uh, Edward Scissorhands is the better film, but Nick of Time is actually quite good.
Oh, I actually have it up here. I pulled it up. It's 95. It was Johnny Depp, Christopher Walken, Courtney
Yeah,
Chase. It's a political thriller. Okay, there we go.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
he's
never even
ordered to
heard of it.
kill somebody, or his family will get killed, or something
Nick
like
of
that. Is
Time.
the plot line.
Okay, perfect. So Ted, which way are you voting on this one?
Oh, Edward Scissorhands is the better film, I think, overall. But Nick of Time is good. It is worth a watch if people haven't seen it.
Perfect. So Edward Scissorhands is going through. Rob, is your connection okay there for the vote?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you there.
Have you now, yeah?
Well, personally, I love Nick of Time. I thought that was one of his better movies. The film itself was kind of cool. It was done in real time. So, like, his child is kidnapped at the beginning, and he has like an hour and a half to go and kill somebody, or they're going to kill his kid. That's
Okay.
basically the story. But like, the movie
Oh.
runs for an hour and a half, so it's all done in real time. It's very good.
So it
It's
must
really
be,
good.
that
So
must
I'd
be
actually
where it
pick that up,
started.
Edward Scissorhands. I never really enjoyed Edward Scissorhands, to be honest.
Okay, but 2 votes to 1. Edward Scissorhands goes through. I kind of expected that. I didn't think Nick of Time was a kind of well-known name,
It's
really.
not,
So
no.
Edward Scissorhands goes through. Next up, we'll start off with yourself, Ted. We have Alice Through the Looking Glass versus The Corpse Bride.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Oh, these are two that I don't really enjoy. I know A Corpse Bride seemed to get a lot of love from people, but
It does.
I don't know. I just didn't really enjoy Corpse Bride all that much. And Alice Through the Looking Glass didn't really enjoy that all that much either.
No, not at all. I
Um,
didn't enjoy that. I much prefer the first one. The second one was
yeah,
kind of went off the wall.
the first one was okay. Then the second one was just, if your first film is only okay, it's you either have to get really good for your second one, or it just goes in the shitter. And that's kind of what happened with that. I'll go Corpse Bride, but I'm not pushed on either one really.
Perfect. And Rob, what about yourself? If we have you, we don't. Okay, and Greg, what about yourself?
Well, to me, what Ted said there is if you don't get the first one right, the second one is just all over the place. Alice Through the Looking Glass is all over the place. That's a movie I reckon if you were stoned off your nut, that's a movie to watch. But I didn't enjoy Corpse Bride. I'll put Corpse Bride through because I particularly preferred that one more than Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Yeah, to be honest, I'll vote the same way here. I'll go Corpse Bride, and I enjoy, like, Corpse Bride was okay, but I'm putting it through mainly because I don't want to see Alice through the Looking Glass go through the next round because it kind of didn't deserve it. It
Yeah.
doesn't deserve to go anywhere. So just simply on that
I remember.
basis,
Yeah,
that'll
it's clean
be
sweep.
Corpse Bride going through.
Yeah.
Next up, I'll start off with myself here. We have Public Enemies versus A Nightmare on Elm Street. First big hit, well, second big hitter really coming out here. Now, I really enjoyed Public Enemies. It was a very good film, but Nightmare on Elm Street is a classic horror film. You can't deny it. I'm going to go. I know which way this is going to go, and lads,
It's right here.
I know you guys love horror films, but I want to preface this, okay? We're not only voting for our favorite films here, we're voting for Johnny Depp's performances. Okay, so you have to take that into consideration here as well. Because I don't want another animation thing happening when somehow we had in DreamWorks it ended up the Prince of Egypt winning.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't want. It is, but it's not as good as a lot of others that DreamWorks
It shouldn't have been knocking out some of the things it did knock out. To be
It
fair.
shouldn't have knocked out Shrek. It shouldn't have knocked out How to Train Your Dragon.
Absolutely not.
So, yes, you vote on your favorite films here, but we're also voting on Johnny Depp's performances. Okay, so try and keep that in mind while voting. But keep that in mind. I'm going to vote for Nightmare on Elm Street to beat Public Enemies. Greg, do you agree?
Movie-wise, Nightmare on Elm Street, I think, is the better movie. It's a very rough Johnny Depp performance. When I go that way, like that movie, if you've never seen it, you wouldn't know it's Johnny Depp. Until when the camera pans in on his face. His performance as John Dillinger, is it John Dillinger? Yeah, in Public Enemies was very good. I enjoyed. I've only seen it once when it came out, but in terms of a movie that starlighted him, you'd have to say Nightmare on Elm Street.
Perfect. So Nightmare on Elm Street gets a second vote.
I think he jumped majorly because of it, and he got into a lot of other stuff from this.
That's very true. And Ted, what about yourself? Which way would you go?
Yeah, I'd go Nightmare on Elm Street. His performance in Nightmare on Elm Street might not be particularly noteworthy. So I don't expect it to win this because, like, as you said, it's not just about the film; it's about him specifically in the film. But as Greg then said, this is kind of what launched him. So without this, do we get Johnny Depp that we got?
True.
Into the future. So I think it is. I think it deserves to get through here. Round. Yeah.
Perfect. So Nightmare on Elm Street will go through. Rob, if we have you there, just to give your opinion between this.
Yeah, well, I Nightmare on Elm Street is good fun, good crack. Let's be honest. He didn't really act very well in it.
No, of course.
It was probably his fourth movie. It wasn't very.
It is though. He
wasn't really a good actor at that stage. Let's be honest.
That's true.
Well, it got him. Well, that and 21 Jump Street, I suppose, got him out there. But like as an actor, by the time he made Public Enemy, he was a far better actor. So for him being
there's no doubt about that.
Wise, I think he was better. So I won't give Nightmare on Elm Street a clear run. I'll go for Public Enemy for his one, even though it's gone.
Perfect.
Now, the only thing I'd say is he does have probably the most infamous death in horror as well to his name.
Well, that it's definitely up there. Anyway, definitely up there. Next up, and we'll start off with yourself, Greg. We have Black Mass up against Alice in Wonderland.
Black Mass.
Black Mass. Okay. Any reasons?
I think they just tried to. I think they just tried to force Johnny Depp into as much as they could at that stage. Because Alice in Wonderland came out, was it not long after, just before Willy Wonka, and I think they just tried to force him in, and he just seemed like the same kind of character in that. I know he does it in a lot of films, but it just seemed too similar for me.
Black Mass was 2015, and trying to
No,
think when
Alice in Wonderland and
Alice in Wonderland was. I'll tell you now.
Was it
2010?
12? Was it?
Yeah, 2010.
And then when he done Charlie in the Chocolate Factory in 2009 or something.
You was roughly about that time, yeah. It was Tim Burton, though. I mean,
it's like
it was 2005. Sorry, 2005. That was, but it was a Tim Burton and Johnny Depp film. You can't expect, yeah. Tim Burton, Johnny Depp. He always plays.
To me, it was just
the same character.
It just seemed to me that it was nearly the exact same character, just in a different movie, to an extent.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like I know he does the weird and wacky things. Like I've only seen Black Mass once, but I'd prefer to sit and watch that than Alice in Wonderland again.
That makes sense. Black Mass is more of a, Black Mass is a good film as well. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it. Alice in Wonderland was great for what it was, and actually, I really enjoyed it. Of the Disney remakes, because you have to include this as it. It's probably up there as one of the better ones. And Johnny Depp was great in the role as the Mad Hatter. What about yourself, Ted? Which way would you vote on this one?
I haven't seen Black Mass, so it'd be a bit harsh to give it the vote over Alice in Wonderland.
True.
I do agree with Greg. I think they kind of shoehorned them into as much as they could. Then I don't know what their kind of I was going to say like why they wanted him there, but I understand why they wanted him there. He's a huge actor and he was very, very popular at the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, they did seem to really want him, and the two roles are quite similar in what he did for both of them. But yeah, I'll give it. I'll give it to Alice in Wonderland because I haven't seen Black Mass, but I do expect Alice in Wonderland to get knocked out by Black Mass from what I've heard about it. So.
Okay, and Rob, you get to the final decision on this one. Is it Black Mass or Alice in Wonderland?
Well, no, you see, I haven't seen Black Mass either.
So.
I do love him as the Mad Hatter. I thought he did a great job. I didn't think Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, I'll have to go with Alice in Wonderland because I haven't seen Black Mass. I'm sure it's the better movie, as in it's a more serious movie and it's a more serious role and shows. But the two totally opposite characters. But he's such a character actor. Like he did play the Mad Hatter brilliantly. So Alice in Wonderland for me.
Perfect. So that's Alice in Wonderland going through to the next round, beating out Black Mass. Ted, start off with yourself, and we have the first of the series in here now. We have Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, so the third one, up against Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Oh.
It is the third one. It is the third one, isn't it? At World's End, yes, it is. Yeah.
Is that the third one? Yeah, definitely.
The third
okay.
One, yeah.
The third one is kind of where Pirates of the Caribbean went a little bit off the rails, if I remember.
Started to go off the rails.
This is where it's like the first one was brilliant. The second one was very, very good follow up, and the third one it kind of seemed like they wanted to continue it, but weren't sure what they wanted to do with it.
They made it too much about Jack.
Yeah,
that's what was wrong. They made it too much about Jack because it's an excellent performance, and forgot about the story.
Yeah, see, and I think the thing is that his performance never does drop off. Like, as much as the film gets a bit questionable, I think his performance still stays really strong there.
Oh, he nails the character. You can't deny it.
Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Mexico, though, I don't really know. Like, it's hard to go against him in as the character of Jack Sparrow at all, really, to be honest. I find it very difficult to vote against him on that. I'll give it to Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's definitely not his. It's definitely not the best film, but his performance in it is brilliant.
Okay, that's one vote for At World's End. Rob, what about yourself? Nope. Okay, Craig, what about yourself?
Right.
Rob,
I
next.
really like both of them. I thought after the one that. Oh, can you not hear me at all? No,
We're,
No,
yeah,
we
you're
can
back.
hear,
You're
Yeah,
back
we can
now.
hear you.
you're back
can you
now.
not hear me at all? No.
We can. Yeah, you're back now. Yeah. He can't hear us now.
There seems to be like a 20-second delay. Okay, Greg, what about yourself?
There seems to be a big delay.
Right.
Okay, well, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay, perfect. Greg, what about yourself?
Won't make a difference now. I was gonna
No.
say that this Pirates of the Caribbean, you're right, is the one where it goes wild. Like I would have been voting for Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I loved the whole precipice of it. It's the same with Antonio Banderas. It's kind of like a follow-on kind of to Desperado. For me, well, that's the way I look at it. I'd watch one and then I watch the other one. His performances and it was
It
brilliant.
is a continuation. Of
But it is, isn't it? Yeah. And then I don't know. The World's End was, well,
it is, yeah.
I would say probably the worst of them. It's the worst of the three originals or the trilogy. Number 4 and 5 are just fucking weird. But yeah, I would have been giving it to Once Upon a Time ago. But Pirates of the Caribbean's already taken through. So
Shit. Do another word.
So, At World's End goes through to the next round. Perfect.
Yeah.
And we'll start off with yourself then, Greg, on this one. It's very,
Don't last
very,
there long,
very,
though, don't worry.
very different films. We have Blow versus Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah. Well, it'd be Blow
Two
for
very
me.
different
I've never
films.
seen the other one. Blow. I don't know. I can't even read. Fantastic Beasts. Not a Harry Potter fan. Not a Harry Potter World fan. And yes, Ted, I know I've seen them twice.
You've seen all films twice, Greg.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen them all. I haven't seen that Fantastic Beast, but no, yeah, it'd be Blow for me. It's anyone I've seen.
Okay, perfect. And Ted, yourself?
I'm the opposite. I haven't seen Blow, and I have seen Fantastic Beasts, and I think his performance in both Fantastic Beasts is absolutely brilliant, and I'm
Really?
I think his
God, no.
performance is brilliant in them, and I'm absolutely devastated that he's been booted out of the franchise for it.
Well, I haven't put the first Fantastic Beasts in this because he's in it for like 10 seconds. So like this is the only Fantastic Beasts film that this is on this list.
Yeah, this is the main one. The first one is just the build up to who he is, and then this one is the one where they really let him fly, and he's brilliant in it.
I thought Colin Farrell played the role better. That's all. That's what I'm going to say. I thought Colin Farrell played it better.
So
I don't know.
He took over from Colin Farrell, did he?
Colin Farrell was Johnny Depp's character in disguise, basically.
Oh.
Yeah, so Colin Farrell acts it out.
I was going to say, what, Mads Mikkelsen's taken over then?
Then the mask
Mads Mikkelsen's taken over, yeah.
The mask essentially gets taken off Colin Farrell, and it is Johnny Depp. And then the second film, it's just all Johnny Depp. And then he's been taken out of the role for something that he shouldn't have been taken out for.
Sure.
But it is what it is. I really liked his performance in that, and I actually think those films are quite good. Some people don't seem to like them, but I really enjoyed them.
I despise them. I really, really, really despise them. I think they're, when you're trying to compare us, they're, what people say the prequels are to Star Wars. Even though I love the prequels, they're like that level of bad. They're like the Hobbit towards the Lord of the Rings, which are just terrible films.
I definitely don't think they're that bad. like The Hobbit, I'll give you is
They're
a terrible
not
prequel.
terrible by any means.
The Hobbit is a bad prequel to Lord of the Rings.
No,
but
I
the
really enjoy the Fantastic Beasts movie.
Yeah, I think the Fantastic Beasts are really good. They're a very different story where it centers around, it now looks like it's going to start moving towards centering around Dumbledore and stuff, but it wasn't originally, and I'm interested to see where they do go with it. So I'll be going to see the next one, even though I am annoyed about Johnny Depp losing his.
I'm gonna go see it.
His role.
I mean,
yeah. No, for me, it's Fantastic Beasts. I haven't seen Blow, so I couldn't vote for it, but I'd go for Fantastic Beasts anyway.
Okay, perfect. And Rob, what about yourself?
Well, as I said, I liked the Fantastic Beasts, the two of them. I thought Johnny Depp was grand in it. He's in the second one. He did it again. It was another. It was almost like watching him doing another Tim Burton movie, But as George Young in Blow, he was absolutely brilliant. It was one of his best roles, one of his best acting. You should really watch it. He's brilliant in it. So I'll definitely go with Blow for this one.
Okay, maybe surprising to a lot of people, but Blow goes through to the next round. So next up, Rob, while your connection is there, we'll get you to vote on this one first. It's Rango versus Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
Yes.
I've never seen all of Rango.
Oh, that's a shame.
And I really like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I know people compare it to Willy Wonka all the time, which you shouldn't. If you just watch it for what it is, it's really good, and I really enjoyed him. I haven't seen Rango, all of it. I know he's a little lizard, but so because of that, I'll go for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I know it's him playing the same type of role again, and it's another Tim Burton movie, and that's what he does. But I thought he did it really well. And if you look at it and it's not Willy Wonka, it's quite a good film, and more like the book.
It is more. It's definitely more like the book than the original film. But Greg, what about yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Rango.
Rango is great.
Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Charlie and Chocolate Factory is just all right. If it's on, it's on. So I'll go and put it on. Rango, I've definitely put on. I watched it with Finn there 2 weeks ago. I love it. It's brilliant. So I'll be going Rango.
That's 1-1. One vote each.
I know to do a voiceover.
Sorry?
But I know it's a lot easier to do. I know it's a lot easier to do the voiceover. But
voice acting can be quite difficult.
Much more fun.
Voice acting can be quite difficult.
I'd say it is.
I loved Rango. The thing is, with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, you can't get away from the comparisons, no matter what. You can try and watch it as just Charlie and the Chocolate Factory instead of Willy Wonka, but there's no way to watch it without trying to compare it or comparing it to the original, and it just doesn't live up.
Gene Wilder was brilliant though.
Don't compare it. That's the thing.
You can't though. You can't. It's the same story, really. What about yourself, Ted? You get the deciding vote.
Good guy, Ted.
Yeah, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, as you say, it should be looked at in its own light. But if you remake a film, no matter how many years on you remake it, you are getting compared to the original.
Especially if it's such a classic.
Yeah, especially now. Don't get me wrong, Roald Dahl hates the original. Absolutely despises it. Thinks it was done completely wrong.
True.
From his point of view, it is done wrong. It does focus a lot more on Willy Wonka than it does on Charlie, but so does this one, kind of a bit really. So it's not really much better in terms of that. Rango's very good for what it is. It wasn't something I expected a huge amount from, and I think voice acting is more difficult than normal acting at times because you can't when you're just acting and you're on screen, you can put emotion, you can put a characteristic to yourself, whereas the character you don't get to do that. You have to convey everything just through voice, sadness, all of that. Like they'll CGI in, that the character looks sad and stuff, but like imagine the Joker without Heath Ledger's mannerisms and stuff. Like nobody was going to think up to put in those things. If that was animated, you wouldn't think to put in the little nuances that he has, like of
Well, that's where you have Mark Hamill.
Yeah, it is, but I think that's where that's where one of the biggest voice acting things is that you have to be able to convey all those things just with your voice, because you can't rely on the fact that you're going to be able to do something with your own body to get it
That's
across. Yeah, I'll go Rango. I don't know if it's a shock victory either, really. I don't know if many people were hugely into Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, to be honest. I think they all just compared it to Willy Wonka.
True. I was definitely expecting Rango to go through this as well. That is Rango through to the next round. And next up, for you horror fans, we'll start off with Rob on this one. It's Transcendence against Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, Transcendence was different. It looked like it was going to go one way, and they actually turned out to be good in the end. You think it's going to be a normal, he's going to turn into this monster, he's going to kill everybody and everything. But he wasn't. He was actually trying to do good and was succeeding. And so I quite enjoyed that story. But to be honest, I don't think he can beat Sleepy Hollow. I love Sleepy Hollow, and I think he was brilliant in it as Ichabod Crane. It was so much fun. I thought, like, everybody in it, the supporting cast, Christopher Walken was great. You only see him at the end, but he's just so much fun. He's great fun. The rest of them are great.
His teeth.
Yeah, no, I loved his Ichabod. So Sleepy Hollow for me.
Perfect. That's a vote for Sleepy Hollow. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be a clean sweep, but we'll go through it anyway. So you can have your little say, Greg. What about yourself?
I think I started Transcendence when it came out, and I never finished it. I think I fell asleep or something. I don't know why I never finished it. I think I got to a point and I was just like, I can remember to the first half an hour maybe. That's it. But I do love Sleepy Hollow. As Rob said, he was brilliant as Ichabod Crane. This movie just worked perfectly. And it was probably the best version of it. I know there's TV shows and all the people talk about. For me, it's one of his better roles. So it'll be Sleepy Hollow for me. Not just because it's a horror movie either.
No, of course. If you're comparing the two, I think Sleepy Hollow is the clear winner between these two films. Not just performance-wise, but film-wise as well. Ted, do you agree?
Yeah, Sleepy Hollow is definitely it's his better performance, I think, and it is a better film overall. Transcendence had the potential to be a complete shit show, to be honest. Like, it had that potential to be extraordinarily bad, and it wasn't. Which is a credit to it and to him, because the idea of someone uploading a person's memory to a computer as the basis for your film, like that, like when I read that when it was first coming out, I was like, that could be anything, and it turned out quite well.
Okay.
I think, is it called Carbon? There's a show on Netflix, Carbon, I think it's called. Altered Carbon, and they kind of took that premise and they did a really good job with it, a better job than the film. So yeah.
That's very true. It's very true. But that's 3 votes for Sleepy Hollow, going through nice and easy there. Going through to the next round. Next up, we have a big hitter, and Greg, we'll start off with yourself. We have Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl up against Benny and June.
Will we make this a nice quick one and go Pirates of the Caribbean because it's Jack?
I think it'll have to be.
Yeah, I think it's a quick one, isn't it? Curse of the Black Pearl. That's the first.
Yeah,
it's the first one. Did he get nominated for it? I think he did, didn't he?
He must have done.
I think he got nominated for best actor for it, or best supporting actor, maybe.
He can he can always remember that as the day that he almost won an Oscar.
Exactly.
See what I did there?
I think you're right. I think he got done for best. I think he got it for best supporting actor, but I don't know if he was the supporting actor in that film. To be honest,
Well, there is
he
no
was.
there's
It
no
was the
main
lead.
actor in that film.
Yeah, you could argue Orlando Bloom was the lead of it, and he was the supporting in the first one, but afterwards it kind of changed around.
yeah. I don't know. It always
Yeah.
felt like he was the
I
lead
suppose,
even
yeah,
in
because
the first
the
one.
story's made to around
yeah.
Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, Will
The-
Turner.
There's kind of two stories in it, though. I feel like there's the story that goes around Will Turner and him being Bootstrap Bill's son, and then there's Jack getting his ship back and all that. Like, there's kind of that's one of the biggest
There's
hitters
about
here,
4
really.
or 5 stories in it.
Yeah, the Curse of
Yeah.
the Black Pearl is probably one of the biggest hitters here.
Oh,
and
without a doubt.
I remember when I went to see this, and I was like, that
Yeah.
was unbelievable. Like, that was so good. I was pumped for the
Yeah.
second one to come out. So yeah, like, I think it's a quick one, isn't it? Benny in June is kind of meh, anyway. So
Yeah.
And we've definitely gotten our first hashtag for the show.
Okay.
And anyway, there, Greg, that's gone to yourself. It's the day he almost won an Oscar. That's definitely going to go down. That's that's a good one. Rob, do you agree yourself?
I
Nice,
love
quick,
that
and easy
line, though.
Black Pearl to go through.
I definitely agree. But a little nod to Benny and June. It's really good. It was when he was doing his indie kind of stage movies, and that's what he was kind of making for a while. It has a good cast: Mary Stuart Masterson and Aidan Quinn. It's about a mentally ill woman who falls in love with this eccentric man who models himself on Buster Keaton. It's quite a quirky little film. It's not bad at all. But Pirates of the Caribbean wins, hands down.
Yeah, I don't think it was much
I
of.
remember seeing the ads for this in Bray Cinema, and I was immediately hooked. It was nearly a year before it came out, and I was waiting for it. You just knew it was going to be a brilliant movie.
Let's be honest. We haven't done it on the Sherlock reel yet, but Pirates of the Caribbean, if you're looking at it, it is one of the biggest franchises ever. You know,
Well, I
when
mean,
you're looking at it
it
in
is,
a
yeah.
whole, might be one of the best because there's a significant drop off, but it's one of the biggest franchises that you can find out there.
Well, I mean, look at that first one. Look at who you cast. Yeah, Johnny
Yeah.
Depp, obviously. Orlando Bloom was at the height of his fame, really, I think. And
Yeah,
Keira Knightley was pretty much at the height
Keira
of hers
Knightley.
as well.
true.
I don't know if
Jeffrey Rush.
she kind of
I
kept
think
going
that
as
kind of
well,
made
though.
Keira
So.
Knightley.
She did Star Wars before that, did she?
Yeah, she wasn't even known then, though. She
Like that, but like
she wasn't
known
known
in
for Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
It was after
She was just
Bennett,
kinda
like
I think it was-
Beckham, and then she did a couple of period dramas before she got this role, and
That's what I
then
mean. Like she was already on the rise before she got this, but like
Yeah.
it was a big hitter when they brought
She
it.
done The Hole as
Yeah,
well.
that's what I mean, but this kind of made her. That just got her out there.
Perfect. So
Yeah,
that is Black
she's
Pearl.
done
The
other
Hole.
stuff, but it's just yeah, she was in The Hole. Yeah, she's the one who gets her tits out in The Hole.
I think we
But
have
the best thing you can say for that movie.
That's right. Yeah. They were so small. I nearly missed them.
It's about the best thing you can say for this movie.
Okay, so next up we have, and we'll start off with yourself, Ted. Finding Neverland versus The Secret Window.
I was hoping you were going to say Finding Nemo there, even though he's not in that, and then I could just vote for that. Finding Neverland is a strange film. I think
Well, it's Johnny Depp. They're all strange films.
At best.
Yeah. I don't really know. I don't really know on this one, to be honest. I could just kind of go either way, really. I think. I haven't seen both of them, so I'll go with Finding Neverland because I've seen that one. I haven't seen Secret Window, but
they're both films released in 2004. If that helps you whatsoever.
it doesn't. I seen I seen Finding Neverland, so I'll give that the vote. Because I don't know the other ones.
Perfect. Okay, and Rob, what about yourself? Rob, no. Okay,
I think he's on a delay again.
I think the delay has happened again. Yeah,
I'll go with Finding Neverland as well. Yeah.
Finding Neverland.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Finding
Okay.
Neverland.
And Greg, what about yourself?
I'd been going the other way. Secret Window.
Secret Window. Okay.
I enjoyed Secret Window. I know a lot of people think it's just a sort of like a remake of Rear Window, but it's actually a Stephen King book. Well, novel. I thought it was very good, but it's going out now, so it doesn't really matter.
It's one I'll need to watch because I've just looked at the poster for it there, and I do remember looking forward to watching it when it was being released, and I don't know, I just never got around to it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'll have to give it a watch at some point.
Yeah, same as myself.
And Rob, if we have you there, we have Donnie Brasco versus Ed Wood.
Another quick one.
I don't think we have you, though, do we?
I think he is. Yeah, he's there, isn't he?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it me?
Yes,
yeah.
you.
Yes,
Yeah, you,
yes.
Rob. Yeah.
You know what? I've never seen all of Ed Wood, so I give it to Donnie Brasco. I think that he was brilliant in that.
Okay. Greg, what about yourself?
Yeah. I'd give it to Donnie Brasco.
was brilliant.
Sorry, go on, Greg.
Yeah, Donnie Brasco for me. I didn't like Ed Wood. Just never seen the hype, never seen with it. I was just like, yeah, I watched it once. I said, yeah, I'll probably never see this again.
Yeah, that's fair enough. What about yourself there, Ted?
Yeah, Donnie Brasco. Yeah, it's definitely the more enjoyable of the two, and it's going through anyway. So I'll jump on the bandwagon.
Okay, perfect. So that's that one to go through. Donnie Brasco through to the next round, and next we actually have quite a difficult one here. And sorry, Greg, you're starting this one off. It is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas versus What's Eating Gilbert
No.
Grape.
I'm not playing anymore.
Not an easy one at all.
This is the toughest one by far. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is so good for so many different reasons. And I love the movie, but I think his performance in What's Eating Gilbert Grape is probably better. Some people might say different, but if you're going on Johnny Depp alone, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, probably. Yeah, okay, go with that one.
One vote for What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Ted, what about yourself? I know it's not an easy decision.
It's not an easy decision. What's Eating Gilbert Grape is probably, I don't know, is that the first kind of serious sort of role he has in that sense, in this style of film? I'm trying to think if there was anything before that where he takes on such a kind of serious role. Or well, I suppose he'd had serious roles before this, but like kind of heartfelt.
93.
Sort of
he wouldn't have had much before 93.
Yeah, and I think he was brilliant in it. I've seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I don't know how many times, and I'm not entirely sure what happens in it or what it's about.
Either is he.
I don't think anyone knows what it's about, because anybody I ask, I'm like, have you ever seen Fear and Loathing? They're like, yeah, it's really good. And I'm like, yeah, what's it about? And the other way, most people can kind of tell you, they're like, oh yeah, it's about this and this. Everyone's description of Fear and Loathing is, this guy, he's taking drugs, and that's kind of everyone's understanding of the film. And that's my understanding of the film. No matter how many times I watch it, that's all I kind of get from it. Is they took a lot of drugs and there's loads of weird shit going on. So whatever about his performance in it, the fact that there's nothing standout about the film really, for me, I'd go with What's Eating Gilbert Grape, because even though Fear and Loathing is enjoyable, nobody knows what's going on and nobody remembers what they've just watched anyway. So you may as well not have watched it, sort of thing.
That's because they're all out at tits watching it as well.
Even if you're not, you still don't know what's going on. It's so insane, like.
So that's two votes for Gilbert Grape. Rob, which way would you have gone?
I'll go with Gilbert Grape as well. He's great fun in Leaving Las Vegas, but that's exactly what it is. It's just fun. Where Gilbert Grape, he showed that he could really act. Like he's just started playing another character. As I said, like he was playing what's the man's name that wrote the book. So, yeah, Gilbert Grape wins.
Perfect.
My connection that bad.
Yeah. So next up, Ted, we'll start off with yourself. And as I'm not voting, I can tell you which is my favorite to win this. We have Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, up against the Lone Ranger.
I think this is a quickie, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. Lone Ranger should have been better than it was.
Should have. 100%.
Like I remember when this was coming out and I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Like, and I'm not a big Western guy, so maybe that's why I wasn't hugely into it, but I thought it was going to be better, and then it really wasn't. Whereas Sweeney Todd, when I saw the ads for it, I was kind of like, I'm intrigued, but I'm not overly pushed if I don't see that sort of thing. And then I did see it, and I was like, that was actually really, really good.
I love it. I absolutely love that film.
I love it as well, but I didn't think I would when I seen the first ads for it. I was kind of like, it'll be passable. I'll watch it. It's Johnny Depp. It'll be passable. Whereas Lone Ranger, I was actually kind of looking forward to, and then it was a huge letdown. So I think it's an easy one. Sweeney Todd.
One for Sweeney. Rob, what about yourself? Do you have a vote there, Rob?
I think he's...
Yeah, he's on another blitz.
Yeah, well, he was probably the best thing in the Lone Ranger. That's all I can say about that.
It's about the only thing it had.
Sweeney Todd is one of his best movies.
Yeah.
Sweeney Todd. Yeah. It's one of the best movies he's made.
Perfect. And Greg, what about yourself?
Sweeney Todd,
100%. I keep my opinions for Sweeney Todd for the next bit.
Yeah, that's a good L strategy there. Good L strategy to keep Sweeney in there. But next up we have, and we'll start off with Greg, yourself. We have Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tells No Tales versus Chocolat. Dead Man Tells No Tales is number 5. Dead Man
Tells No Tales is
number 5.
5.
I think it's better number 4. It's better number 4.
Dead Man Tells... This is the one that has the second name, isn't it? Is this Salazar's Return as well?
Yeah, Salazar's Return,
yeah.
The same one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the fifth one.
It's the one with Javier Bardem.
Pirates of the Caribbean. He was brilliant in that as well as Sal.
He was.
He's brilliant in nearly everything he's in. Pirates of the Caribbean. Didn't enjoy chocolate, whatever it's called.
Chocolat. Give it a bit of finesse. Come on, it needs the finesse.
Yeah. Chocolate. It's chocolate. Say it, Frenchie. Chocolate.
Chowder.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay, that's Pirates of the Caribbean.
A lot of them are going to go through.
It looks like it so far. What about yourself there, Ted?
Oh God, no, chocolate. No.
let Rob go ahead there.
Go on, Rob. Go on. You can throw in your vote here.
Sorry for jumping in, Ted. But Chocolat is far like. By the time they got to Dead Man's Tales, it was just shit. You know,
No,
the
this one's
Pirates of
better
the
than the
Caribbean.
third. This one, I'd say this is the
Ah,
third best
no, it
Pirates film.
was crap. I went to see it in the cinema and tried to go to sleep and couldn't. It was that bad. Like
Well, 'cause it was
Chocolat,
that
I
good.
don't even like he's only
I-
kind of like he's only in half the movie in Chocolat, but he's far better in it than that. He just turned into a raving drunk by the time he got into that, making that one, and it was just him falling around pissed. He didn't even do any sword fighting in the last one. It was so bad. It was just it was awful. They ruined his character by the time they made that. So no, I couldn't give it to him for that at all. Chocolat goes through and ahead of me on that one, definitely.
I do disagree. I thought Dead Man Tells No Tales was actually
Hope
pretty
he's heard
good.
some of that.
I thought it was the third best. But Ted, what about yourself? The
I'm
deciding vote.
with you, Carl. I think the first two films were very good, and then the third and fourth were questionable at best. And then this kind of brought it all back for me. I thought that this looks like they're on a turning point for Pirates of the Caribbean to me. Possibly because they did move away a little bit from Johnny Depp and went back to a story. Went back to a story rather than just focusing on him. Maybe that's why it got better, I suppose.
Yeah.
Chocolat for me felt very much like it was made to win, awards. That was kind of the idea behind it, because the story and the plotline isn't great. It's someone opens a shop in France that sells chocolate. I mean, you try to sell me that film, hey, do you want to come watch a film with me? This woman opens a shop in France and it sells chocolate. No, I'm not overly pushed on watching that.
It's
Is
the
there
influence
anything
she has
else?
on the lives of everybody she sells chocolate to.
Yeah, but you don't know that until you go see it. So, like, if you're trying to sell someone a film, right, and it's like, here, do you want to come watch this film with me? This one's about pirates, right, where they're going around and they're sailing around, fighting each other, or we can watch this one with a woman who sells chocolate in a French village. Like, I can tell you which one I'd go see. Like, even just on that, like, oh god, I think I'll go to the pirate one, man.
You see, Ted, that's me and you, though. But if you say to a woman that you want to see Johnny Depp in his movie about chocolate,
Yeah, but do you want to keep the woman or do you want to lose her to Johnny Depp and chocolate? I mean, you make your choice, No, for me, Pirates of the Caribbean, Chocolat is made to win awards, and I don't think it even did it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so it's a film made to win awards. They didn't even accomplish that.
Perfect. So that's the third Pirates film going through to the next round. And will we continue to streak, because we have Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides up against Dark Shadows. And
Stranger Tides is 4, isn't it?
It's number 4, yes. And Rob, we'll start off with yourself here.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Well, no, I'm getting rid of fucking Pirates of the Caribbean. Dark Shadows isn't that great, to be honest. I did like him in it. I didn't like the film. I did like him in it. But the film wasn't that great. But I'm just so sick of Pirates of the Caribbean. Dump that.
Okay.
So Dark Shadows.
That's one for Dark Shadows. Greg, what about yourself?
Well, we know clean sweep for Pirates of the Caribbean on this one. I really enjoyed Dark Shadows. I don't know why. I think it was just the fun nature of it. Brilliant. Chloe Moretz, brilliant as the niece. Is it niece? Great grand niece, whatever. As the wolf.
Yeah, werewolf.
Eva Green was brilliant as the protagonist. I just thoroughly enjoyed that movie. I don't know why. It's a movie that I probably should have hated, judging by the movies that I like.
It's Taika Waititi, isn't it? I think he's the director for it. Yeah.
So you might have done Marvel movies now.
Yes, he's done as Thor Ragnarok, and he did Jojo Rabbit as well. I really
Yeah.
like Taika.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It just seemed like a movie that I
He
shouldn't
does
have
that
liked, but
vampire
when I went,
theory.
I didn't hear
Sorry,
that.
Greg, go on.
He does that vampire series. He also does
Yeah, no,
or something as well, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
no, I really, really, really enjoyed Dark Shadows, and like I only watched it there probably 2 or 3 months ago. It was on Netflix, and I was like, "It'll do."
Perfect. Okay. Would
He
you?
plays Bartleby, or
Me too.
What way would you have gone, Ted? Would you have continued the pirate streak, or
Barnabas.
was Dark Shadows going through?
Um, I don't think it really mattered with either of these because I don't think, unless they get a favourable tie in the next round, I think both of them were going to get knocked out in the next round, regardless of which one went through here.
True.
The number 4 in Pirates of the Caribbean isn't great. Number 3 wasn't great. And Dark Shadows, not great either. It's enjoyable for what it is, I suppose. I wasn't overly pushed on it, but I'll give it to Dark Shadows just because I don't really care about this Pirates of the Caribbean getting knocked out. It's meh anyway.
Perfect. Okay, so that is Dark Shadows going through to the next round. And now for the final matchup in round 1. And we'll start off with yourself, Greg. We have Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man Chests up against From Hell. So this is
No.
Pirates 2. This is Pirates 2.
no. Pirates of the Caribbean 2 was brilliant. It was a great follow-on, but From Hell for me is just one of his best movies in my opinion. I love it from start to finish. Jack the Ripper, and it's even funny when you see it, like Bilbo from Lord of the Rings is in it.
Martin
But
Freeman.
yeah, From Hell, yeah, From Hell for me.
No, Ian Holm.
Oh, Ian Holm, the other Bilbo.
Yeah,
The real Bilbo.
yeah. Sorry, yeah,
Real
yeah.
Bilbo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, From Hell for me. But we'll see.
Perfect. That's one vote for From Hell. What about yourself there? And don't forget, we're voting on performance as well, not just film. And Ted, what about yourself?
I enjoyed From Hell, but I feel it could have been better than it was. The story that they had is a great story, and I think they did okay with it. But I think they probably should have done better with a Jack the Ripper story than they did. I know there's not a huge amount known about Jack the Ripper, like in terms of actual facts. It's more speculation and stuff now than anything. But I feel they should have done better with this. And Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest is a fantastic follow-up to Curse of the Black Pearl. I'm not sure which one I prefer, to be honest.
Right.
I don't know if I put
one is certainly easier to watch.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see these two coming up against each other somewhere in the final. So I'm going to give it to Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest because I think it is a better film overall, and I think his performance in it is better than his performance in From Hell as well.
Okay, so that's one vote for each. So Rob, you get to the final decision. I know you're sick of pirates being in it, but think of it which film this is, in fairness. It's the second
No,
one.
well, I love From Hell. Like, you asked me today, and you didn't have that on the list, and like I thought it was one of his best movies. You know, so like, what do I vote for? A Victorian detective out of his head on
Opiates.
or an alcoholic? I go for.
Why
I
is the rum always gone?
He's brilliant From Hell. I think it's one of his best acting roles, to be honest. So that's why I said to see it today. It's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw the list that wasn't in it because he's brilliant in it. I love the story. I'd never heard that story before, and that suspicion about who Jack the Ripper was. So I thought that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. So From Hell gets my vote.
Okay,
I do
wow.
love that Pirates as well. And it is a great sequel, but I thought it was far better in From Hell.
I think we've just pulled off a shocker here. The second Pirates of the Caribbean film going out in the
so,
first
yeah.
round. I think that is a shock. But we'll go back, and that's the end of round one. Sorry, Greg, what were you saying?
You missed another honourable mention. Should have been The Ninth Guy.
Yeah, well,
It's
I mean,
a quality movie.
Yeah.
you can only choose 32. It's hard to make these lists.
You picked Jenny and Boone.
I didn't. That wasn't originally there. I will say that.
Yeah, that was me. That was me too. Right. Yeah.
Murder on the Orient Express wasn't originally there.
But
Instead of it.
I did tell him to get rid of a couple of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I thought the last two. I didn't think the last two would have made it now, mind you. But
The fourth one, maybe not. The third one, maybe not. The last one, the fifth one, should make it.
Yeah, the fifth one was really good.
1, 2, 5 are the best three. Like they're the three best of the lot.
But anyway, we'll move on to round two, and we'll start this one off with Ted. We have Edward Scissorhands up against the Corpse Bride.
As I said, not a massive fan of Corpse Bride. I know people.
Tim
people
Burton's
seem to
Scott
love
phase
it.
definitely is here.
People seem to love Corpse Bride. Like they were like I don't know what it is, but people were absolutely in love with that film. It's impressive. I mean, as all sort of films shot in that claymation are impressive. Sort of thing. They're very, very impressive. A lot of work and stuff goes into them. I just don't understand why people loved Corpse Bride so much. I think people that loved Corpse Bride are people that loved A Nightmare Before Christmas and were dying for something similar to it, and were begging for something similar. And when this came out, it was the closest thing to it, so they just latched onto it, and it's not great. Like,
it's nowhere near as good as Nightmare on Elm Street or Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's nowhere near as good as either of them. But Edward Scissorhands is actually a very, very good film, and has people like it, and it deserves to be liked. Whereas I don't feel Corpse Bride is as good as people. I think there's a lot of people just who wanted to like it because it was basically his continuation of A Nightmare Before Christmas, and that's what they wanted to love about it. But I think if you took Nightmare Before Christmas out and just had Corpse Bride there, I don't think people would love it as much. So for me, Edward Scissorhands.
Perfect. And Rob, what about yourself?
I totally agree with everything Ted just said. I never saw the fascination with Corpse Bride. I never liked it at all. So Edward Scissorhands is a clear winner for me in this one.
Perfect. So Edward Scissorhands is going through. Would you vote the same way there, Greg?
I think so, yeah. 3-0.
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep. Edward Scissorhands is going through to the next round. Perfect. So we'll start off with yourself, Rob. We have A Nightmare on Elm Street versus Alice in Wonderland. Rob.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking. I love The Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, I was only a very young man watching it, and I jumped out of my seat. I really enjoyed it. Had no idea who Johnny Depp was. He wasn't known. He was a nobody at that stage. I don't think he'd even made 21 Jump Street, so he wasn't known. It was only years later that we all discovered that Johnny Depp was a Nightmare on Elm Street after he'd made his name.
Yeah.
So
there was only two real sort of big.
For me, anyway, that's exactly how it was. He wasn't known. It was his first film. You know, he wasn't known at all in it. I don't think he made any real impression at all. In saying that, my vote goes to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Perfect. That's one for Nightmare on Elm Street.
I think he's better in it than Alice in Wonderland. I did love him as the Hatter, but I think Nightmare on Elm Street is better.
Perfect. So if it was me voting here, I'd actually be going for Alice in Wonderland, but that's my opinion. I'm not voting here. But Greg, which way are you going here?
Like Nightmare on Elm Street was the movie that started me off as a horror fan. I can watch it, or I can watch that movie every day for the rest of my life, and I'll never get bored of it. His acting, the acting overall, bar maybe John Saxon and as the dad, and Robert Englund as Freddy himself, is questionable at best. But in terms of Johnny Depp, it's propelled him to what we know now. Do you know what I mean? Without
Of
that,
course, yeah.
without that movie being such a success, would you have said you have Johnny Depp now? Like, no doubt he might have got something else, but would he have gone on to do what he's done? So Nightmare on Elm Street for me.
Perfect. That's that's two for Nightmare on Elm Street. So that is going through to the next round. Ted, would you have voted the same way?
If it came down to the deciding vote for me, I probably would have pushed to put Nightmare on Elm Street through, based on the film, but not based on Johnny Depp. I don't think. This is actually one of the films that me and Greg are doing for the horror month. It'll be coming up later this month. And we discussed in that Johnny Depp wasn't even originally meant to be in this. It's meant to have been Charlie Sheen.
He wasn't originally cast.
It was Charlie Sheen, was it?
Charlie Sheen was meant to be there. I think the character they cast him for, which is meant to be, the jock, which the typical jock tends to be quite big, quite large. He's not big, he's not large, he's quite small, and they even make him wear quite like small fitting clothes that should accentuate how big he looks. But because he looks so small, you just look at him and you go, why does she believe that this man could defend her from anybody? Like, he's tiny. Like, this is a small teenage guy. Like, there's some guys that'd be, big guys as a teenager, and you'd be like, yeah, I believe he could swing a bat and knock somebody out. That kid, I'd be like, he's gonna swing a bat at you and like not gonna hurt all that much. I mean, he doesn't have much behind him.
It's gonna bruise you at best.
Yeah, the bat will do all the work and he'll do none of it. But
I can see from the way he acted in it, it was kind of, it was meant to be. You can see that now that you've mentioned it, like, it should have been Charlie Sheen. Really, it was his role. Yeah, he even acted the same way Charlie Sheen would have.
He did, yeah.
But Charlie Sheen,
he's not.
Charlie Sheen came in and demanded double money or something.
He's not awful in it. That's the only thing you can say about him. He's not awful. It's one of his first roles, and he doesn't stink up the joint. Yeah. Which is the best you can say about it. His death scene is brilliant. It's iconic. But he doesn't really do a whole lot in his own death scene anyway. So, in terms of actual acting ability, he's better in Alice in Wonderland. But in terms of which one's a better film, Nightmare on Elm Street is streaks ahead. And I think both factors should be kind of course, taken into account when you're voting on this. So I'll go Nightmare on Elm Street, and I would have pushed it through had it been a draw. But it probably won't win because of his minimal acting actually in it.
Perfect. So that's Nightmare on Elm Street going through the next round. And next up, we'll start off with yourself, Greg. We have Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End up against Blow. So this is number 3.
World's End is 3.
Number 3.
Right, so I reckon the director probably smoked about a pound of grass for this, especially when they go into that upside down world, which is what Davy Jones' locker. Blow has probably gone as far as it's going to go. 3 isn't the best Pirates of the Caribbean. It's probably not even the 3rd best. But no, I'm gonna go Blow. I can't do it. I don't like this one.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Ted, what about yourself? I'd say it's probably ranked 4th on the Pirates of the Caribbean list. What about yourself? Which way are you going?
Yeah, I'd probably be with you that this is probably the fourth best out of the Pirates of the Caribbean series.
That's just because number 4 is just awful.
Number 4, they really didn't know where
it's
they were
disgusting.
going. I honestly thought that, after they made that, I was like, that's the end of that franchise. They've really just made a complete mess of it. Then they made 5, which redeemed it quite a lot. And they'll probably make a 6th based on the fact that 5.
Well, they have cast, but they've recast. Well, not really. They've kind of written Johnny Depp out of it. It's Margot Robbie's kind of taken over the role.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I am interested in that now. And I'm glad that they did kind of fix that franchise because it was a very good franchise when it first started. It's one of the, as we said, it's the second worst in the series at the moment. I haven't seen Blow, so it's harsh to vote for it. But Blow knocked out Fantastic Beasts, and had Fantastic Beasts gone through, I would have voted Fantastic Beasts over World's End. So I think based on that, I'll give it to Blow. If Blow is better than Fantastic Beasts, then it's definitely better than this.
Perfect. So Blow is going through to the next round. Rob, would you vote the same way?
Yeah, definitely. Blow is probably one of his best acting roles ever.
Perfect. So
one of his best movies.
Blow through to the next round, and we'll
You should
start
watch
off.
it.
We'll start off with yourself, Ted, on this one.
Mm-hmm.
We have Rango versus Sleepy Hollow.
Another
I think Rango did well to get out of the first round, I think, didn't it? Sleepy Hollow is very, very good. It's very hard to look past it. If I had to choose to watch one, I'd watch Sleepy Hollow over Rango.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sleepy Hollow. It's that simple.
Perfect. And Rob, the same way?
Same. Yeah, you can't beat that. He's great.
Perfect.
Such a great movie, Sleepy Hollow. Everything is brilliant about it, in my opinion. It's one of the few horror movies that I'd enjoy watching again and again.
Perfect. So that's Sleepy Hollow going through. I'm guessing, Greg, you would have voted the exact same way.
3-0.
3-0, baby.
Yeah, I kind of expected that one.
Okay. I know. Don't get me wrong. I do like Rango. I like both of these, but Sleepy Hollow is a better movie.
Okay, perfect. Next up, we have.
I love the imagery of Sleepy Hollow. I love all the imagery of Sleepy Hollow. It's one of those cool-looking movies.
Yeah,
and everybody was
it is. Next up, we have, I think it'll be a nice quick 3-0 here as well. Rob, we'll start off with yourself. It's Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, up against Finding Neverland.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye, Peter Pan.
Yeah, nice and quick one there. I think it's the same. Greg, Ted, nice quick 3-0.
Yeah, quick, easy one.
Yeah,
Curse of the Black Pearl,
didn't even need to do this one.
No, that's kind of an easy one to go through. So we'll start off with yourself here, Greg. We have Donnie Brasco up against What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Oh dear.
Oh
dear. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? I don't know. There's something about the performance in it. Just something about the movie in general. I've seen it that many times now. I've seen Donnie Brasco a good few times. There's something about that movie. And him in particular in it is just brilliant. So What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Perfect. And Ted, would you vote the same way?
Yeah, I think so. It's because I think What's Eating Gilbert Grape is just because it's so early in his career and it's such a difficult role to do, like looking after your sick brother and your obese mother. Like it's a very difficult role for someone to take on, and he was still quite early in his career, and it was the first serious role that he took on like that.
Yeah.
I think he just did it so well that without that, would he have gone on to have been cast in a lot of the other films that he got cast in after that?
That's a good point.
He is very good in Donnie Brasco as well, but he was already a little bit more established by that point. And it was probably I think the role of Donnie Brasco is a little bit easier than the one he played in Gilbert Grape.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So that's 2 for Gilbert Grape. It is going true. Rob, would you vote the same way?
I would, yeah. I think he's brilliant in Gilbert Grape. And what a great cast with it, like Leo and Juliette Lewis. And I can't remember who played his mother, but I used to like her when she was a much younger and half the woman she was in that film. It was yeah.
There's
Definitely
the next hashtag. Darlene Cates.
What's her name?
Darlene Cates.
Darlene Cates. That's her.
Perfect. So
Yeah,
that
no, he
is
was brilliant.
that's What's Eating Gilbert Grape going through to the next round. And we'll start off here then with Ted. For the next one, we have Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, versus Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tells No Tales. So this is the 5th one.
Oh, this Pirates of the Caribbean is the one that does bring the series back, and as you said, they are moving on. They look like they're moving away from Johnny Depp, as a lot of people are moving away from him now because of this whole Amber Heard thing. I suppose that's a whole story in itself. I don't think he should be chastised the way he has been. I'm like, he was no angel in it either, but she doesn't seem to be getting the backlash that he's getting, which I don't think is fair. And I think, yes, he did something wrong, but
Aquaman, didn't she?
No, she's still in Aquaman.
No, she's still in.
That's a different topic for another day.
It is a different topic, but what I was going to say is, like, it's not like he's the first person in Hollywood to do something wrong, and he seems to be the huge scapegoat here. But I do think them moving away from him in the Pirates of the Caribbean might actually be for the best of the actual franchise itself. Yeah. Because I think that's what happened in 3 and 4 is that they focused too much on Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, and focused the story about just look how crazy Jack is, and don't really worry about the story we have. Then the 5th one, they went back to a kind of story. So I think him leaving that is actually best for the franchise. But Sweeney Todd is one of his best roles, I think. And he does very, very well with it. And I think it does deserve to go through here over, even if it is the 3rd best Pirates of the Caribbean film, I think Sweeney Todd still goes past it.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I'm happy for any vote for Sweeney Todd. Rob, would you go the same way?
Definitely. Yeah. I love Sweeney Todd. It's one of my faves. I listen to the soundtrack all the time. And I'd watch it again and again and again, and have done. I'd probably never watch Dead Men Tell No Tales ever again, to be honest. But yeah, Sweeney Todd, he's brilliant.
Perfect. Okay, and Greg, what about yourself?
And I've seen every movie of Sweeney Todd, any version that's been made. I've always loved the story, and his is the best.
Perfect. Sorry, Greg, what were you saying?
Yeah, it's a clean sweep. Sweeney Todd's just a powerhouse here.
Perfect. Yeah. Glad to see that go through myself. So to finish off this round, we'll start off with Rob, yourself. We have Dark Shadows versus From Hell.
Dark Shadows are From Hell. From Hell, definitely. Yeah, he was just excellent in it. Great story. Dark Shadows, again, I liked him. I liked the character he played. It was kind of quirky, and he played it really well. I've never watched any of the original series that it's based on, but the movie was fine. Like, as I thought, he was the best thing in it. The other characters were fine. It was okay. the film was okay. But I enjoyed him in it. But From Hell, he's just outstanding. It's going to be hard to beat that one for me.
Perfect. And
Yeah.
Greg, what about yourself?
Yeah, as much as I like Dark Shadows, From Hell is just an absolute monster of a movie. His performance in it was just top drawer. So From Hell for me.
Perfect. And Ted, yourself?
I don't know what the lads are thinking here with From Hell being this powerhouse monster that they're making it out to be. It's good, he does well in it, but like from us, like the actual writing of it, the actual film itself isn't great, and it's nothing to do with him or the actors in it. It's to do with the story that was written for them and what they have to portray. They could have done so much more with this, and I just think it's not that it's bad. It's definitely better than Dark Shadows, and it'll definitely go through here for me. But I just don't get where this idea that this is some sort of powerhouse is coming from, to be honest. It goes through here easily enough. Dark Shadows is okay, but From Hell is not the powerhouse that it's been made out to be here, people.
Okay,
don't agree with that at all.
That is From Hell going through to the next round, and we start now into the quarterfinals, and it's all power. It's all big movies from here.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's all going to be difficult from here now. So we'll start off with yourself here, Greg. We have Edward Scissorhands versus A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Great.
And don't forget,
So
it's performance,
I
and
know,
you have to take it all into consideration.
I know. As I said earlier, Nightmare on Elm Street's my favorite horror movie. As I said earlier in this, his performance is raw. It's rough. Like even his relationship with Heather Langenkamp in it is like, for someone that's supposedly in a relationship, they don't look. There's no chemistry, no anything. Well, I don't think so anyway. Edward Scissorhands is a great movie. It's a very fun movie. It has Vincent Price in it, or a voice in it. Like, for him as a person, I think it was very important for him. I think he goes on to marry Winona Ryder from here, didn't he?
Think so.
Like, I don't know. Like, I love Nightmare on Elm Street, but I think this is as far as it goes now. So I'll give my vote to Edward Scissorhands. I think he's just in this, his performance is very good.
Perfect. All right, that's one vote for Edward Scissorhands. And what about yourself there, Ted?
Better film, Nightmare on Elm Street, easily. Better acting, Edward Scissorhands, easily. Like, hands down, he's better as Edward Scissorhands than he is in Nightmare on Elm Street. He's not in much of Nightmare on Elm Street, and the little bit he is in, it's not awful, but it's not great either. And that's he's cutting his teeth. He's getting into the big boy acting roles coming into it. So you're not expecting a powerhouse performance, especially considering he's a very, very minor role in it. Like, out of the 4 kids, he's probably the least important out of the 4 kids in it, really. Like, even though he survives to be the second last one, I still think he's probably the least important, because the others at least have some part of the story. He's just kind of her boyfriend,
yeah.
And he survives a little bit longer so that she has somebody to talk to. That's about all he's there for. So he's not an important role, particularly. The character isn't an important role. He does fine in it, but in Edward Scissorhands, he is the main character, and he's basically just Freddy Krueger in Edward Scissorhands, except he's not, in people's dreams, and he's not out to kill people.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy, Freddy.
Yeah, maybe that's what happened. Like, when he got dragged down and got killed, this is what happened. He gained the scissory hands. But better film, and when you take into account the fact that we're doing it based on Johnny Depp alone and not just the film itself, Edward Scissorhands is the one that he is the main part of, and if he's the main part of the film, then that should go through, really, shouldn't it?
Perfect. So that's Edward Scissorhands is going through to the next round. Rob, would you have gone the same way? Oh, I think we've lost Rob. Oh no, he's back.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I remember when Nightmare on Elm Street came out first, and I went to see it in the cinema. Yeah, I went to see it in the cinema, and it was great fun. Nobody knew who Johnny Depp was. It was probably about 10 years later that we realised that Johnny Depp was actually in Nightmare on Elm Street. It was one of those movies, it was one of those roles. Edward Scissorhands, he was well known by then, so Edward Scissorhands gets my vote as well, by the way. But,
Perfect.
But for the movie, I'd probably vote for Nightmare on Elm Street, but for his performance, Edward Scissorhands wins.
Oh yeah,
if it was a movie overall.
Yeah, if you're just doing based on film, it's Nightmare on Elm Street. But for Johnny Depp, it's Edward Scissorhands. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So up next, and we'll start off with Rob yourself. We have Blow versus Sleepy Hollow.
Ooh, okay.
I told you they were all difficult here.
This is a toughie. Yeah. But you know what? I think for his performance, I think Blow he's just brilliant in it. He really is brilliant in it. And like I've seen the fella that he plays being interviewed. He does it so well. He really takes him off. George Young. He really takes him off very well. He does it excellent. Sleepy Hollow is the best version of that story, and he was a brilliant Ichabod. I love what Tim Burton did with it. It was great. But for his acting ability, he was amazing in Blow. So I'd have to give it to that.
That's one for Blow. Greg, what about yourself?
Yeah, acting. I don't want to play anymore, lads. Sleepy Hollow is great. Like the build, the movie itself. But as Rob said, his performance in Blow was just unreal. That doesn't take anything away from his performance in Sleepy Hollow either. It's another very good performance.
Oh.
But I think it's Blow for me.
Blow goes through to the next round. Ted, would you vote the same way?
No, I haven't seen Blow, so it's very harsh for me to give it a vote over anything, to be honest. I'd have gone Sleepy Hollow here. I think, I just love Sleepy Hollow as a film, and I think his acting in that is very, very good. I can't judge Blow because I haven't seen it. I didn't think it should get past the first round, but again, I hadn't seen it, so
it's true.
I didn't really have an opinion on it anyway from there. But I think even if I had seen it, I probably still would have voted the Fantastic Beasts because I think he did such a good job in that. I think without him in Fantastic Beasts, that they wouldn't even have got to make a third. I don't think there was anyone else who could have played the character the way he played it as well as he did. But it is what it is. I'd go for.
I don't know. Like I haven't seen Fantastic Beasts, but if you see his performance in Blow, it'd probably change your mind.
Possibly, I haven't seen it. But
perfect. So that is Blow going through to the next round. Maybe in a shock, considering that the panel that we have here, I expected Sleepy Hollow to get right to the end. But we'll start off the next round there. And Greg, we have Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of Black Pearl versus What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Okay. Thanks, Carl. At least I don't have to make a deciding vote on it.
That's true. This is true.
I was talking to Ted before we came on, and I said that Pirates is going to be one of them ones that's going to be right up there. I knew I knew he was in What's Eating Gilbert Grape and how good of a movie it was, but I think like if you ask anybody now, sort of name 5 Johnny Depp films, not many of them are gonna name What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
True, and I think people would say it's more of a Leo film than a Johnny Depp film.
Yeah,
If you ask them now.
100%. Pirates of the Caribbean was. I don't think if he wasn't Jack Sparrow, I don't think the franchise goes as far as it does.
I don't think they get a second one if he's not Jack Sparrow.
I think that they made a second one just so people could see more of him.
Yeah.
No,
it was a hindrance and a great thing, really.
But it's near like stupidity that works out all the time for him.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
in a controlled way, if that makes sense. Yeah. So Pirates of the Caribbean here for me.
Perfect. That's one for the Black Pearl. And Ted, what about yourself?
Yeah, Gilbert Grape is. It's as I said earlier, it's the first serious role he takes. It's the one that I think puts him more on notice than a lot of the other films he did. I think Nightmare on Elm Street put him on notice to start getting into these bigger roles, and then this is the big role that kind of put him really on the map for people. But Pirates of the Caribbean, I disagree with you. There was a second one coming regardless of Johnny Depp's performance, based on the fact that if they had never planned on making 2, they would have just called it Pirates of the Caribbean. They wouldn't have given it The Curse of the Black Pearl. They wouldn't have given it that second little bit if they never planned on making a second. Which to me screams that they. I don't really know, but to me it screams that they were definitely making
it's a
second
ride in Disney. That's why they made it. It's a Disneyland ride.
Yeah, but they were definitely making.
I thought it was a book.
They were definitely going to make a second one, I think, regardless of his. But I don't think the second one would have been extraordinarily different without Johnny Depp. True. Because that's when it started to center around him, and it worked for the second one, not for the third, not for the fourth, and then the fifth. It doesn't focus as much on him, which, as we said, was good, because it was a hindrance and a bonus to have him there. But without him, I don't think the franchise becomes as successful as it did. And I think if you ask 100 people on the street, what's name a Johnny Depp character, I think this is the one that this will be the one that gets mentioned most. You might get a few people say Edward Scissorhands, depending on what age they are and stuff. But I think, yeah, you might get Grindelwald. But even with that, I still think Jack Sparrow would be said more than Grindelwald. I think that's the character. Yeah. That's what he's synonymous with. So for me, Curse of the Black Pearl, easily.
Perfect. That's 2 votes, and it is going through to the next round. Would you have gone the same way there, Rob?
Yeah, 3.
3
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. 3.
That'll do.
Perfect. So that is going through. And Ted, will start off with yourself on this one as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street versus From Hell.
Oh. Great.
That'll do, pig.
I think we know which one's gonna. I think we know which one's gonna go through here, don't we? As I said, well, at least which one I'm gonna vote for. As I said, I like From Hell. I think it is quite good, but I don't think they did enough with it as a film. I think there was just so much more that they could have done with it. I think people played their roles very well in it, but I don't think the film itself is brilliant. Sweeney Todd is a strange one because I'm not a big musicals guy. I would prefer the straight film than the musical part of it. That's probably what detracts most for Sweeney Todd from me, is loads of musical bits in it, because I'm not mad on that. I'd prefer it as just a straight film, but I think it is the better film overall, and I think it's his better performances in Sweeney Todd as well.
Perfect. So that's 1 for Sweeney Todd. Rob, what about yourself? Rob?
Oh, this is a tough one for me because I really love him in For Hell. From Hell. But Sweeney Todd. Yeah, I really love him in From Hell. No, it'll come true in a second. There's a delay.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
But I think Sweeney Todd's gonna have to. I'm gonna have to put Sweeney Todd through. It's one of my favorite movies.
Perfect. What about yourself there, Greg?
If I had the deciding vote, I would have went for Sweeney Todd. But I can't see From Hell go out with a 3-0, so I'll give my vote to that.
So okay, perfect. So that is Sweeney Todd going through to the next round. So we'll start this one off there then. With Rob. Do we have you there?
About 10 seconds we might.
We will start you off there. The semifinals. It's Edward Scissorhands against Blow.
I know where this is going anyway.
Okay, well for me it's a very easy one. I've never been the biggest fan of Edward Scissorhands. It's not one of my favorite movies at all, and I would watch Blow again and again and again. I thought he's just fantastic in it. So Blow for me.
Okay, and Greg?
Yeah, same for me. There's no point in elaborating on it. I've said my piece about Blow.
Okay, and Ted, what about yourself?
Movie.
Never seen Blow. Edward Scissorhands I would have voted for. I'm not even a huge Tim Burton guy either. I wouldn't. There's a lot of things I would have voted over Edward Scissorhands. To be honest, it's more just the run it's got that I voted for it over other things. To be honest, there's a lot of other films that he's had that I would have voted over Edward Scissorhands. It just happens to have been the films it did come up against that I thought it was better than them. But I haven't seen Blow, so I can't. I'll give it the vote because it's going through, but I don't know anything about Blow. Apparently, it's some juggernaut though, so I'll have to watch it at some point.
His performance is
perfect. So Blow through to the finals, and to meet it in the finals, we have, and we'll start off the vote there with yourself, Greg. It's Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of Black Pearl versus Sweeney Todd: The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Yeah.
Oh, bollocks.
Now we're into the nitty gritty, lads. Now we're into the nitty gritty.
Jack Sparrow against Sweeney Todd. What's he better in? I love Sweeney Todd. I'm not a musical person either. But that one I'll watch over and over again. I watch that probably at least once a year. His performance in that was phenomenal. But I think his performance as Jack is just a little bit stronger than thing that it got a franchise, you know, that kind of way. Like, I know Sweeney Todd couldn't have went any further than it did, but his performance as Jack got them a franchise.
Yeah.
I gotta go Pirates of the Caribbean. No, I generally don't mind which one was true here, but I think, yeah, for what he got, Pirates of the Caribbean gets mine anyway.
Perfect. And what about yourself there, Ted?
Yeah, as I said, I'm not a huge musicals guy. I prefer if this was just a straight shoot film rather than to have the musical scores interjected. I know that they are important, and I think they actually did. I do think overall they actually do add to the film, even though they don't add to my enjoyment particularly of it. I think they add enjoyment to a lot of other people's watching of the film. So, you know, not every film is made for me, and you have, like, you know, some people don't don't get that, and they think, if it's not perfect for them, then it's not a good film. I don't think that. I think it is a very good film, even with the musicals, and I think I wouldn't take them out because it would take other people's enjoyment of the film away more than it would, detract from my own to have them taken out. That being said, as we said earlier, line up 100 people and ask them, name me a Johnny Depp character. Who do they say? And the answer is simple. They say Jack Sparrow. He's the biggest character that Johnny Depp's done, whether for good or for bad for the franchise. The franchise was built off the back of him, and you ask people, name me a Johnny Depp character. That's the one you're getting. Young, old, no matter what, people know who Jack Sparrow is. I don't know, even when we were saying it earlier, we didn't even think to mention, people might say Sweeney Todd. And I don't think they would. And I think that's the real kicker, because he's brilliant in both.
I love Sweeney Todd. Don't get me wrong, I love Sweeney Todd. I only watched it there last or during the week, and I've been singing the songs all week. The songs get stuck in your head. His performance is great, but it's Jack, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is Jack.
That's the thing. He's fantastic in both. Both films are fantastic. So what you have to break it down to is what separates them, and what separates them is which one is he more known for, and that's the only thing I can split those two films on, and the answer is he's more known for Jack Sparrow. So yeah, Curse of the Black Pearl for me.
Perfect. So Pirates is going through the finals. Rob, would you have voted the same way? I know it would have been a difficult one for you.
Well, you know what? As much as I love Pirates, I think it's brilliant. I'm not going to give it the 3 up for this, because
it doesn't deserve the 3.
Just because the Demon Barber is so good, and if you take out the musical part of the Demon Bar of Sweeney Todd, there's no dialogue. There's 10 lines of dialogue, if even that, through the whole movie. The whole thing is a musical. It's all singing. There's no dialogue in the film at all.
True.
So, but it's so good.
It
makes you think there is.
Don't put anything else
really
in instead.
No, but there's nothing else in it. There's no other dialogue, only for the music. So it's so done so well that you don't even realize. It's such a well put together movie. It's really great, and he's brilliant in it. So I'll vote for Sweeney Todd, even though Pirates is going through.
Yeah. No, I do get what you're saying, Rob, in terms of it is mainly done with singing. But I was saying that if you took out the singing, I don't expect them to take out the singing and just not put anything in there. I think you can still tell that story without the musical part of it. I still think it would work, and I'd prefer that. But I do understand that as an overall presentation. I think as an overall presentation, it works better with the music. It does work better, even if it's not my preference.
Perfect. So that is Black Pearl going through to the finals. So there we have it. We have the finals of Johnny Depp. It is Blow versus Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. And Ted, will vote for yourself, because I know which way your vote is going.
Yeah, haven't seen Blow, and as I said, the biggest character that Johnny Depp's ever done, the one that everyone knows him for, is Pirates of the Caribbean, is Jack Sparrow. So it's an easy vote from me. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Perfect. That's what way I'd be voting as well. Down to these two, I'd definitely be voting for Pirates of the Caribbean myself. But Rob, what about you? Which way are you going here?
His portrayal of George Jung, I think, is just amazing. I'm sorry I haven't seen this, Ted, because I'd love to hear what your opinion would be on it after seeing the film, because he's so good in it, and the film itself is so good. It's really well put together. I think if I was going to vote for anything to beat Jack Sparrow, it's Blow. So I'm going to give mine to Blow, and we'll see which way Greg goes. But for his acting ability, he's absolutely amazing in Blow. Jack Sparrow is great fun. And it's an amazing role. He does it great, but it's a comedic role in the end, and I think he just excels as George Jones.
Okay, so it all comes down to Greg. Greg, you get the deciding vote.
Thanks,
Is it
lads.
Blow or is it Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl?
Right. Let's see. One of them, like Blow, isn't a movie. I don't think you're gonna sit down and put on just to watch. Like you have to be in the mood to watch it. It's a very, very good movie. Pirates of the Caribbean, you can sit down and you can come into it 20 minutes in and kind of pick it up. He got that a 5-deal franchise. You know what I mean? He got it a 5. He got it a 5-movie franchise. But it's portrayal, as Rob said, his portrayal of George Young was I don't think you could have got anyone better, bar maybe if George Young was an actor. I don't know. This is tough.
It is a tough one.
Like Jack is a synonymous character to Johnny Depp. He's a synonymous actor, or he's a synonymous character to him. But I'm gonna give it to Blow. His performance is just phenomenal.
Oh no! Whoa!
Hang on. Before you give it to that, Greg. Now, I understand. Like, I haven't seen Blow, right? And both you and Rob have said that he does a fantastic job of portraying your man Jung in it, right? But if you take, and it's very similar to Heath Ledger in Batman. If you take Heath Ledger out as that Joker, does that character be as good if you replace it with somebody else? And the answer is no. And I think the exact same with
Jack Nicholson.
Not then you couldn't. Jack Nicholson could not have done that role then. What he did back then was brilliant, but he doesn't do it in the Dark Knight trilogy. Definitely not.
It's a different Joker.
Exactly, it's a different Joker. Nobody else was able to portray the Joker the way Jack Nicholson did for the films that he did it, but Heath Ledger did it his way, and that made the Joker as famous as it was in that film. The same for Jack Sparrow. You take Johnny Depp out of that role, and I don't think anybody else gets that role and makes that character as popular and as famous as it should be.
But
I think
the one thing to that is
there's thousands of actors out there that I think can mimic a real life person. This is how the person is. You can talk to them. You can see how they talk. You can see how they act. You can see everything about them. There's loads of method actors out there that I think could take that. Like here's physical copy of what you need to do. Mimic that. I think you can get someone that can do that a lot easier than you can get someone who can take a character and blow it up and make it as popular as it was.
The only thing is Jack Sparrow never had a definitive way of being. Do you know what I mean? There's not a script that says act like you're hammered all the time.
Exactly.
It was number 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's my point.
Well,
he took that role and he made it that. He makes it that way. Whereas
but what's not to say that another actor comes in and changes that slightly to not being hammered but comedically funny. You know what I mean?
But
when you have to copy somebody,
as Johnny, let's be honest.
But then, if it's just comedically funny, does the character become as popular? Does the franchise like blow up the way it did? I think if
you have a realness to the character.
If you're told create something, if someone puts a blank piece of paper in front of you and says create something, it's a lot more difficult to do that than if someone puts a blank piece of paper in front of you and go draw that thing that's directly in front of you. It's a lot easier to draw something and to mimic something directly in front of you. There's what you need to do. There's exactly what you need to act like. There's exactly how you need to talk, act, everything right there. copy it, do it.
Hang on a second. He played one of the Rolling Stones. You know what I mean? That's what he did in the movie. He's
Yeah.
what Bill fucking what's his name? Bill Wyman or whatever he played. He played one of the Rolling Stones in the movie. So he's taken off. He's ripping off somebody else. So fuck that. You know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
he's
At least
ripping-
when he plays George Jung, at least he's playing an original role. He just didn't rip off one of the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, but
You know?
he has to do that. He has to make the decision to apply that, to make that character. He doesn't have to make anything to make George Young because George Young exists. He's right there. You just do that.
It's his version of it.
He's doing
It was his
He's
version
doing
of
it
the
in
character.
front of him. Do you know what I mean? He has to portray him in front of him. Do you know what I mean? So if something's not
but
right, he's going to be told.
Okay, so Greg,
Yeah, exactly.
final decision there, Greg. Is it Blow,
Blow.
or the Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of Black Pearl? And
Blow
your
for me.
winner, the Sherlock Reel winner. I'm shocked, to be honest. I didn't see this coming whatsoever. I thought this would be actually going out in the first round myself, but however, Blow is the winner. There's another one that's gotten away from me completely. Blow has gone and won the Sherlock Reel. Johnny Depp's best film, according to the Sherlock Reel, is Blow. Ted and myself are completely surprised, but what can you do about it?
Watch it, Ted.
That's an absolute, I can't believe you think it's more difficult to portray something when the person is sitting there going, that's not how I would have done that, than if someone goes to you, here's a role, make it famous. I can't believe you think that one with the other one is more difficult. That's insane to me.
Well, there you go. You'd have a new topic to do on Retrotainment. You can cover Blow for an episode. Speaking of, let's go around the board there and do the outros there, Rob. While we have good internet with you. Have anything to say goodbye?
You say no?
Just thanks a million. This is always fun. I always enjoy doing this show.
Perfect.
You need to bring the mustache back, Rob.
There you go. I always enjoy doing the show. It's great fun. I love having some great arguments with Ted.
You have very differing opinions on films, all right.
Always going to be entertaining.
And Ted, what about yourself?
Yeah, both myself and Greg, Retrotainment on the Dynamo Podcast Network. This month we're doing horror, as I said. Last week we did A House on Haunted Hill. This week is Dawn of the Dead, and then Nightmare on Elm Street will be later on in the month as well. And then the following month we'll be doing sci-fi films, so we're looking forward to doing them as well. But yeah, out tomorrow at 2:00 Irish time for any American listeners. I have no idea what time that is for you because you have 8 different time zones and I don't know which one you live in.
Yeah, trying to organise
It'll be out
American
sometime
guests on the show is difficult.
Well, it's tomorrow for us. It might still be today for them. I don't know, Greg. They're all over the shop, those lads.
Perfect. And Greg, I'm pretty sure you're promoting the exact same things there, correct?
Exactly what Ted said there, yeah. We had a big guest on last week. If you want to go and check out the House on Haunted Hill one. It's the 99 remake. But yeah, everything that we have on the Dynamo Podcast Network.
Excellent. Perfect.
Check it out.
So that's it this week for the Sherlock Reel. Somehow your winner for Johnny Depp films is Blow. It's gonna take me a while to recover from that. So while we have that, in 2 weeks we will be back again, and we shall see you then. Slán.
Take care.